the mute button wants to unmute itself. See, something should go wrong at the start of every broadcast, and then it's out of the way. My name is Jesse Hildebrand, everybody. I'm your virtual adventure guide here at Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. And if you're joining us for the first time, we are all about bringing conservation, adventure, and science into classrooms around the world. We do over 40 broadcasts every single month. And like this one, every single thing we do will end up on our YouTube channel for you to watch 2 days down the road, 3 years down the road, whatever you want. That's half the fun of the program. It is so nice to be able to welcome in a really special program today. We are having the most speakers we've ever had in a program ever, in 3. It's very exciting. We're bringing back one of our iconic partners in Steamlabs, who's done some really amazing stuff with us over the last few years, and there's many more things to come in the months to follow. We've got Kids Code Jeunesse here for, I think, the second time ever in an exciting way. They are Canada's leading coding organization, and they do such incredible work to educate and inspire kids like you. And we've got some live projects from kids your age, which is really exciting, whether you're joining us live on YouTube, wherever you're tuning in from. We're going to have a chance to explore some really, really cool stuff today. We're also going to have a Kahoot, which I almost forgot but didn't. So right in the middle of our broadcast, not at the end like usual, we are going to have a Kahoot, kahoot.it with a game pin 3462537. If you want to pull that up on a separate tab now, get ready to play. If you don't have Kahoot and you just want to answer in class, that's totally fine too, but more fun this way. So please do feel free to join in. We'd love to have you take part for a little extra interactivity today. Now, without further ado, I'm going to welcome in Herman to begin our broadcast. Again, 3 speakers, more fun that way. Herman, thank you so much for joining today, and take us away. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Jesse. It's so much fun to be here. My first time with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. I'm very excited to be able to share the things that we have for you today. But before we get started with the topics that we're going to cover, I want to go over the land acknowledgement. Very important for us to remember where we are, what land are we on, and what's the history of the land that we're sharing today. I'm going to read mine, and it says, I'm speaking to you today from the land of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Six Nations Confederacy, the Wendat, and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. This place is home to many indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and I am grateful to be able to live and work here. That's our first part. Now, after we reflect where we are, let's see what are we doing today. The big name for today is called microbit. Many of you may have heard of microbit. Maybe you've never heard of them. We're going to show you what they're about, but we're going to try and talk about microbits within the light of data and climate change. That's super interesting. And we're going to do it in combination, as Jesse said, between Kids Code Jeunesse, Steamlabs, and a wonderful classroom led by Jeff. So let's get started with Rocky Lake Elementary School with a demo that they're going to do live for us. I'm super excited to see this. Jeff, it's all you.
Oh my God.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Okay, so
Hello.
hey, Jesse. So I'm here with a bunch of students, and we have some pretty incredible projects that they want to share with you. So to get started, I think Beckett is up first. So we're all going to move out of the way so that Beckett can have a show.
Let's go, Beckett.
This
is the airplane that I made.
Just wait for everybody to. Yep, scooch over.
This is the airplane I made with 2 microbits, and it has wings. We've tested it before, but we don't have big enough motors. So next time we're gonna 3D print one. So let's see how it does.
I'm so vested in this. Like, this is so exciting. Sorry, go ahead, man. Here we go.
Yeah. So we're planning for a crash landing here. Yes. Way out of the way there. All right. So we've got like a remote control here. So if all goes well, when we press the 2 buttons, of course not. It worked like a minute ago. We might have to restart and come back. Okay, maybe we'll show Lachlan's project while we get this one up and running again. We've had some radio frequency issues with some of our little projects today.
Try it.
All right, come on over. We'll try again.
One more time. Take it, Lachlan.
Take 2 with feeling.
Okay, so this is my basketball game.
Hold up, Lachlan. Let's just try it one more time here. All right, we'll tinker and try again. All right.
Okay, so this is my basketball game. It's pretty old though, so I had to take it apart before.
and stuff because this is actually pretty old from the last time we were doing our projects. So then Mr. Henniger told me to just redo it. So now it's like this. I used one microbit, and whenever I put this ball here, you're able to shoot it, and then it goes in. It will add a point like this. See? You can see the
Cool.
bar going up. It's working. Oh, the rest is working. It's just a model covered in tinfoil, and it goes up each time.
Awesome, Waffle. That's awesome, man.
You missed.
Oh, no, Mr. Hanniger.
All right. We've got airplane motors spinning, so we'll jump back to Beckett's for a second.
You missed again.
Thanks, Lachlan. That's awesome.
Yeah, hide your basketball shame. That was terrible. No LeBron in that class.
Okay,
Cool. Look at
All
that.
right.
Let's
Ready
go.
for launch? It gets pretty noisy.
You missed again.
This way.
Oh.
Oh.
All right. Am I done now? Yeah. Sure. All right. All right. All the way.
Cam, I'm not
Thanks,
doing
guys.
it. No one.
All right, Cam.
Amazing. That was pretty. I wish I had you as a teacher when I was a kid, because we didn't do anything like that in my classes. We had to walk uphill both ways in the snow, and you guys get to play with micro bits. That's super cool. Are there other projects to share?
We do. We have a couple more. So this is Cam.
This is my remote control car. It moves. It moves when you press it. There's a B board and a microbit to control it.
Cool.
You want to take it over to the main area? We'll aim it down.
Yes.
Yeah, it has.
Do I need a reset? Oh my. Our remote control things need some resets today. Oh man, we might have to come back.
All remotes are. It's actually a law of the universe that all remotes will fail when you're trying to test them live. So this is
that's it.
very expected.
Give it a quick switch on and off.
Yeah.
They're waiting. Oh man, the radio stuff. All right, we'll come back on this one too. It's gonna be one of those days. All right, we have one more though. At least, come on over.
No,
Oh, two more?
exactly right. Mine is working.
Okay, let's put it down. Bring it over first.
All right. So this is our taco truck. Taco truck. So inside of it, you can open it up, and it's got all the micro bit in it. So it's got the B board, and then the micro bit, and it's
ready
also
to
got LED lights.
Why is that not
Amazing.
Top. So
Take it to the floor. Take it over.
I got a
Wait, it's working. It's driving.
Oh, it's driving already. Yeah.
Way to go, girls.
Oh, it just stopped. It stopped.
It's excited.
Oh,
Nice. I love the lights. I love the taco. I love everything about it. That's very exciting.
all right. We're gonna turn yours off, and we can see if Cam's is gonna work for a last. Not gonna go.
Well, this
This is like BattleBots, but live. This is very exciting. Okay, one more with feeling. We'll try.
All right, we're almost done here. Let's turn that one. Let's turn off the taco truck there.
should I show us?
All right.
Ah,
Yeah, sure.
Okay, this is the drone.
so cool. I love it.
So we'll try it out.
We'll see if it'll go today.
Gonna go. I can feel it. I can feel it in my heart.
Here.
Brenda and Herman are rooting for us too.
Okay, Emma, you got to move all the way. Danielle, please come out of the way.
Here we go. Here we go with feeling. Back to you, full screen.
All right, back way up, Beckett.
Come on, come on.
Yep, we got it. Back up.
Back up there.
Yes, take off. Come on. Yes. We have lift off. Ah.
Someone needs to hold it. I'll hold it.
All right. And I think you had a couple of slides for us there as well.
We do. We'll bring those up. Brenda, you got, or Herman, whose slides are it right now? By the way, these are like the coolest project ever. You guys are like the luckiest class of all time. Although we will announce for everyone tuning in that there are ways that everyone can get cool kits like this, courtesy of our folks at Streamlabs. So Herman, I'll bring you guys in too. Which Jeff, are you talking about the videos? Sorry.
Yeah, we had a couple little
Let me bring those up. Sorry, wrong.
We'll go
slides. I'm confusing I'm losing the plot here because I'm so excited about your amazing projects. Okay, let me bring up our microbit projects. I've got Graham's up. Give me 2 quick seconds here.
Yeah.
Let's highlight this. You guys are amazing. Those are like super, super cool projects. I am insanely impressed. Okay, let's see Graham's together. And it wants to work. Okay, what do we have here? What's happening?
This was from a different class upstairs that was doing a cool project, and you'll see like they have a motor moving. So they built this little scene. It was this whole house scene, and it was like the television had moving parts in it. It was pretty cool.
Super cool.
It's like a little snowman on the TV screen.
I once drew a stick person. That was like the extent of my artistic ability. Like that's the furthest I ever got. So everything that you guys are doing is unbelievable. Okay, and we're gonna check out our other one together.
Yeah, last one.
Yes. Okay, I got this crazy cat thing going on. It's like a cat contraption with like we're feeding it.
So this was this. Oh, perfect. We just got a truck working. Put that on the floor. So this was from when we were when Lachlan built his game. This group made a game as well, and it was when you throw that little tinfoil ball in there, it closes a circuit and makes those rainbow lights come up over it. So
what? Mr. Henniger, this Rocky Lake Elementary. I'm in awe. From across Canada, this is very exciting. You guys are amazing. So A+ to all of you. I have no power to actually bestow that upon you, but in theory, cool guys. Okay, are we showing anything else? I heard we got the truck working. We can check that out before we head back.
And then it stopped again. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, come on. It's gonna work. I feel it.
It just moved. Oh man. Let's do one more. All right, 10 more seconds, and then we'll move on, Jesse. Thanks for your patience with us.
Oh, this is, patience. I'll go all day with you guys. Who needs dinner? Okay, here's the deal. If you get it working at any point later on in the broadcast, like we go to Q&A at the end, just let me know, and we'll come back and we'll check it out. I want
Sounds good. All right, Cam's determined. All right, cool. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
And thanks for the invite. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. Listen, anytime you guys want to come on for the rest of broadcast history, even if we're talking about something completely unrelated, you're now welcome. You're anointed in the Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants world. We're going to put Rocky Lake Elementary back in the background, and we are going to continue on with a little bit of really cool stuff. Come on, Brenda. Sorry, I'm forgetting where I'm supposed to go here. I'm like, it's too exciting. Where am I going next? We got 2 slide decks up at the same time. I'll bring up our Rocky Lake Elementary.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring you up. My computer got also really excited, and I cannot see anything right now. But I don't need to see. I know what I'm saying. Hopefully, we're showing the slide for questions for Rocky Elementary. That's what we want to do right now. But first, before we go into questions, what I'll just desperately look for my browser, I'm going to tell you that I've seen many microbit projects so far, and I've never seen anything this impressive. Like, I can't believe the level of creativity and things that Rocky Elementary has done. I hope that this is an inspiration for everybody to go and figure out how this works. Can you make another taco car? That would be super cool. That taco car is the amazing thing. We saw a plane, we saw a drone. I'm just trying to figure out, I need to make one of these. And my browser is not anywhere. I hope that I'm still there in front of you. If not, I'll keep talking. Perfect. Thank you, Jesse, because I'm here somewhere in the ether.
Somewhere.
There, I found myself, my computer, too many monitors. Great. So what we're going to do now is we want to have a Q&A. We want to see if anybody has questions for Rocky Elementary. And it can be Jesse, can be Brenda. I'm going to start. And the first thing I want to ask Rocky Elementary is, when you were making those projects, I want you to tell me, what is the thing that you enjoyed the most? And what was the thing that you disliked the most? What was the hardest? Or maybe you like the hardest the most. But what do you like the most, and what did you dislike the most?
Amazing. Well, Rocky Lake Elementary, if you guys want to come back in, please do. Unmute your mic, turn on your camera so we can hear from you guys. YouTubers, if you guys want to share questions in the chat, we'd love to take some questions from our audience today. Again, we've got 8 groups all across the country and beyond set to tune in. Mr. Hanniger's class, if you guys want to pop back in, bit easier to do question time if you stay around, I find. Maybe they went and built more projects and they fused them all together. We've got like flying taco trucks now, which, by the way, I would absolutely go in for. That sounds like a delightful Mexican. That's just wonderful.
If we don't have that, that's also fine. We can carry on until they come back.
Yes, how about we'll do that because they're away right now. Maybe we're putting projects away. This is half the fun. We're like doing broadcasts by committee. I love it. And we can highlight a little bit of nuclear energy stuff while we're waiting. Herman, how does that sound?
That sounds fantastic. How and why are we bringing nuclear energy right now? We were talking about microbits. We saw a taco car. Maybe the taco car needs energy to run. Maybe that plane needs a little bit more oomph in order to fly. Maybe that drone, in order to fly a little bit longer, needs energy. And that's the second part that we're trying to tie in today. We're talking about technology, but we're also trying to see what are alternative ways for us to power our devices, to power our life. And that's what's going to come here. We're going to be talking about nuclear energy. But before I start just throwing facts at you, which is really interesting, I like that. I like the sound of my voice. Why not? But what I want to do is for us to ask a few questions. And for that, you are going to provide the answers. We're going to see where we stand among this knowledge, and I'll try to fill in the gaps. How do we feel about that? I'm sure we feel great.
We feel great. We really do. Let's
Excellent.
do it.
Then, guess what? Let's Kahoot the questions that we have, and then we'll go with this. While Jesse starts deploying the Kahoot, these are the questions that you will be seeing. What we're asking, I see already people in the Kahoot. This is great. So, Kahoot away.
We're all right. So we're going to give our audience just a few more seconds. If you guys want to join in the Kahoot, we'd love to have you take part. The faster you answer, the more points you get. You don't win anything, but you do win Herman, Brenda, Mr. Hanniger, and I's everlasting respect. So that's worth a lot. That's a big thing. We're going to start momentarily. 4 questions, as Herman brought up in the second. And then right after that, we're going to go really quickly back to Rocky Lake to get Cam's project working. That's what they were doing. They were setting up that final project. But let's start with our Kahoot and dive in and get underway, folks. Here we go. Oh, and I'll put us off the screen because we don't need to be blocking the questions. There we are, or to the side. I know what I'm doing sometimes. All right. Question 1. Why do we produce more energy to begin with? We've got so much energy. Is it because we want to sell energy to make money? Are we just secret deal with the Martians? Because there's many resources where we can get the energy. I mean, it's there. Why not take it? Or because it helps increase people's standard of living. One of these seems more right than the others. That's the hope anyway. With 8 answers in, most of you guys right. I like to sell it to make money. To who? Who are we selling it to? We don't know. Could be that would be a whole different broadcast. But yes, it helps increase people's standard of living. We produce more energy because it helps us power our cities. It helps us, help with healthcare. It helps us do science and engineering and research. It helps us do everything that we take for granted in the modern world has been made possible as a result of our energy generation. So I think it's an important note for our classes. Wise Bunny has our lead with Honest Zebra right behind, nipping at the heels, as it were, which when a zebra is doing it is very dangerous. What is nuclear energy? Our question 2. Here we go. It's the force that holds atoms together. It's the energy that causes mutations in superheroes, clearly. Or it's the energy that powers about 20% of the world. What do we think? I know the gamma ray blast back in 2009 made me feel very special, but probably not our answer today. So a lot of you thought powers about 20% of the world. I'd be curious, actually, the backdrop of this question from you guys and how much it actually does power in the world. We had a nuclear program in Canada the other day. Canada actually gets a lot of our power from nuclear power. On a global scale, I don't believe it's near 20% yet. It would be quite a bit lower than that. Brenda, you're looking knowingly. You know that,
We're
you know
gonna get there. Yeah.
It's close. It is quite. It's 10%.
10%, getting there. But yes, the force that holds atoms together at the most basic level, that is nuclear energy. Our leaderboard remains the same at the top. Okay, going into question 3. 2 more to go. Okay, this is a multi-select. Why not oil, gas, and coal? So it could be one. It could be more than one. Is it because there's a finite amount of these resources? Is it because extraction and production of energy with them is harmful to people? Or is it because generating energy using fossil fuels hurts the environment? What do we think, everybody? Right. A few more seconds. Oh, our final answer. Let's see. So, perfect. Almost all of you got all 3 of these. It is all 3. Instead of putting all of the above, we're making you work for it by clicking every single one. And it drives the point home of all these points we're trying to make. So very, very good, guys. You know, we know that fossil fuels harms the environment. We certainly, our kids these days, you know why we're here today in this broadcast talking about climate change to an extent. And just generally, climate is a huge thing that we do at Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. We've all grown up learning that. There are a finite amount of these resources. You cannot extract oil and gas and coal forever, whereas solar, wind, nuclear energy, in theory, to some degree, are infinite in their approach. And it harmful to people. We know that oil, gas, and coal pollute the air. Millions of people every year are actually adversely affected by the pollution that's created by these energy sources. So I'm really glad we got all 3 answers there. Wise Bunny takes a commanding lead. Wise Bunny is like killing it. Okay, so let's go to our final question. See if Wise Bunny can be dethroned. What is a chain reaction? All right. Is it when the movement of objects triggers the movement of another, perhaps indicated by this pile of dominoes? Is it when a knight feels that their chainmail's too heavy and itchy? And that's a problem we've all dealt with. Or is it when popular restaurant franchise opens up in your neighborhood? That sounds amazing. I got to say, we've got some chains here, but there's a few that we're lacking, like Burrito Boys. I'm hoping that Rocky Lake Elementary's taco truck can come to me, because that is really what we're lacking. But most of you got this right. It's when the movement of an object triggers another. We'll probably get into this a little bit with nuclear energy in just a minute, but let's check our podium. And then we are going to go back to Rocky Lake briefly, check out Cam's project, and then continue on with the broadcast. Captain Ostrich is 3rd, Honest Zebra nipping at the heels is 2nd, and the winner for all the marbles and all the everlasting respect is Wise Bunny, wire to wire. If you are any of these people, let us know. We'd love to hear from you in the chat. But Rocky Lake, Mr. Anderson's class, I'm going to come back to you. We want to see Cam's project. So let's we'll say a brief farewell to Brenda and her mom, because I have all the power. And Rocky Lake, if you want to come back in, come back in. We miss you. There we are. Oh, you're thinking about it?
Right.
Right. Yes. Vehicle number 2. Yes. Let it go. Now,
Success.
Okay. Bonus question: if you raced the taco truck versus that, who would win? Do we know?
Great question. We haven't done it yet. That's for another day, maybe.
Okay. All right. Or at the end of the broadcast, whatever. We'll see how it goes. But very cool, Cam. Way to go, man. We're going to head back on our Kahoot versus Science Spotlight. And so let's keep this train rolling to answer a few of these questions.
Perfect. So you already mentioned some of these things, but I'm really impressed with the answers that we received. Everybody's in tune of why do we have nuclear energy? Why are we doing these things? Let's start with the first one, which is a key question to ask. Why do we produce more energy? And we can think it from many different points of view, but in general, a society that produces more energy is raising more opportunities for everybody. Think about this. Can you go to school and read your books and work on your computers at night? Yes, because we have electricity. And even if we didn't have computers and we want to read, the electricity helps us at night. Help us go to school because we maybe use public transit. All these things help society. We can create factories, we can create buildings, we can have these sort of interactions we're having today. And this all requires energy. So energy, electricity, and all this production of power is really important for all of us across the world in order to be more successful and more prosperous. So when you hear about increasing in energy production, that's not a bad thing in itself. What can be bad is the way that it's being done, is that we rely on natural resources. And as you very well answered, natural resources are finite, and the extraction of these resources causes harm to the environment and it also causes harm to people. And burning these resources, that's the same thing for all of us. So we've done it. At some point, we didn't know we were doing it. Now we know we're taking action. We're looking for green alternatives, for ways for us to make society better, more prosperous, but without harming ourselves or the environment. And then we have many things, but maybe you've heard solar energy, we have wind energy, we have geothermal energy, but today we're focusing on nuclear energy. And as to support nuclear energy. And one of them is that we're making nuclear reactors, those places that extract energy from the nucleus of atoms, and we'll make them smaller. They have certain advantages, certain things. And that's why we're going for nuclear energy, because it is one of the sources of power that can help society meet their demands of electricity. Then the other one, I already said, why not oil, gas, and coal? It's because there are drawbacks. We rely on them for a long time, and they had great advantages and great things that took us where we are as a society, but now we know that this is not the path to follow. Then the last question, what is a chain reaction? Chain reaction, why are we asking about chain reactions? Am I changing the topic again? No, we're on topic. We're still doing the same thing. Is because a chain reaction is very important when we're talking about nuclear energy. The way that we extract the energy in nuclear energy is that we need to break apart an atom, and when we break apart an atom, it releases energy. The interesting thing is that there's so much energy that is released when we slice that atom that it just triggers what is called a chain reaction. And as you said, a chain reaction is not the chainmail. I lived through that, was horrible. It's not the restaurant, we all seen it, but it's when one effect triggers another and another. And the example that we had on screen of the dominoes is a really good example. We're going to see more about that. And the chain reaction is what gets the reaction started. And that what gets started, because it's spreading and triggering more reactions, then we can get electricity. And that's being done via a nuclear plant. So those are the answers to the questions. That's kind of the idea why we're looking at different sources of alternative energy. And now what we're going to see is we're going to explore a little bit more about chain reaction. We have here a graph where we can see how this works, where we have two different types of reaction. One, it's called a linear reaction, and the other one, an exponential growth reaction. I want you to try and see the images that we have on the screen and try to think which one is linear. So linear, if we're saying linear, we're saying a line. Okay, which one represents a line? Maybe the one on the left, but the other one kind of follows a line going up. But now let's take a the other one says exponential growth. And when we mean exponential growth, when we say exponential, is that things start growing a little bit and they grow more and larger and larger and larger and larger at a bigger scale, at a bigger rate. That's something that you can explore with your teachers. What is an exponential growth? Maybe you've seen how it's graphed on a Cartesian plane or something like that. You can take a look at that with your teachers. That will be a great question to ask. But Brenda is going to show us something really interesting regarding linear and exponential growth. And let's see how it acts. Brenda, take it away. So we have this video, and this will be linear growth. Let's see what's happening. Brenda's finger is triggering a reaction, is hitting the first domino, and then this domino goes on a line, on a linear way, triggering another one, and she's timing it. And we see that is 53 seconds. So it took 53 seconds for that reaction to fully happen. Now let's take a look now at an exponential reaction. We have the same number of dominoes, but we laid them out in a different way. It's kind of hard to see because it's so fast, but let's take a look again. There we go. Now we see it happening a little bit slower. Now let's take a look at the slow motion. And it says that it takes 35 seconds. As you can see, we have a big difference between the speed that a linear reaction works at and the speed that exponential reaction works at. And for the nuclear reaction, if you start thinking, you see the lines that we have there. It doesn't happen that one atom triggers the next and the next and the next, because you can think of this of a big soup of atoms that when once gets triggered and it's split, the energy release starts affecting all the atoms around it. So we have a chain reaction. And that's one of the big complexities, but one of the great advantages that we have with nuclear energy. This is a great graph that shows how just one domino starts affecting everything else. In this case, we're dividing in two. When you think of the atom soup, it's going everywhere. Now we go into making decisions. Making decisions means that now, how do we get to the idea of changing from microbits, code, energy? Why are we making decisions? I don't know, but Brenda does. Brenda, tell us.
So in the previous example we saw, we can see how dominoes can visually explain data. By showing us how the dominoes fall and calculating that, we can have an experience of those different kinds of chain reaction. That's a similar thing when it comes to data in general. A lot of times data is just a whole bunch of numbers, a whole bunch of spreadsheets that we don't really understand, and we don't have a big picture understanding of how it works. Instead, we can take that data and make it more visually appealing. So we can make data into charts, into graphs, into infographics that can tell a story. In this activity by KCJ, this activity is showing the amount of plastic we're using and how that can tell a story. So on the left chart, we can calculate which kinds of plastic we're using. In the middle chart, we can distinguish how many times we're using that plastic. And by the end, based on the weight of that plastic, we can see if whatever the weight of the plastic is compared to an animal. And so by having the amount of plastic compared to something that we care for, something that we love, such as an animal, we care more about the environment. So what is data and what is microbits and what does all of this have to do with this project? Well, by using microbits, we can visualize the data that we create. And so Hermione can show us some examples using microbits.
Great. So that's very good. We're tying everything together. You thought it was going to be impossible, but it's possible. Everything ties together. Now, let's take a little break and let's think about what we saw with the Rocky Lake Elementary School. They were working with microbits, but I'm going to go back a step just for a second. What is a microbit? How does it work? Let me show you one. I'm going to put one here on the screen. This is a microbit. As you can see, it's a tiny computer that has a bunch of sensors, a bunch of different things. What can it do? It's a pretty smart computer because this tiny thing knows if I'm moving it. It knows if there's light hitting on it. It can take instructions from the buttons that it has, like your Nintendo Switch or your Xbox. It can also detect what is the temperature right now, a magnetic field, so it knows where is the north. It knows many things. And the thing I like the most about the microbit, it can help us learn how to code and take the code out of the computer and bring it up to the real world. If you think at home, you have a microwave, when you press the button that says popcorn, it knows for how long it's going to go. So that's really important, and that's being controlled by something like this. when you see signs on the street that says construction until summer 2025, that is done with a little device like this. So this is the device. These are connectors. These are many different lights that it has on the front that can provide information to us. Now let's bring the device to life. And we have this here. I connected the microbit to a cable. Now let me do something. I'm going to shake. Something changes on the screen. Let me shake again. Same thing again. We have something different. So we start thinking, what is happening here? What are we doing? What is this microbit code that is showing me these weird graphics? What are they? I'm going to put them in context. I think you're going to get it. I'm going to put my microbit here. I'm going to put my hand here, and I'm going to do this. Let me see. I have scissors. The microbit has rock. I've been beaten by a microbit. Let's try again. Oh, Jesse, you want to play one against the microbit?
I'd love to.
Okay.
I wasn't planning to, but I will now.
Let's go.
Why not?
1, 2, 3, go. And what do I hit? Scissors tight. Let's go.
Right.
One again.
There we go.
1, 2, 3, go.
We got paper.
Scissors.
Oh no. Oh.
See, the rise of the machines. The rise of the machines. So we have things that we can do with the microbit. This is an interesting game. I'm going to show you the code behind it right now. If we take a look at this screen, we have all these different colors. Jesse said that they look like Skittles. They kind of do like Skittles. And something really cool is that you can go to this site also, just search for microbit and make code, and you can be there. And if you're there, you can try this later on today. The beauty is that you don't need a microbit because you have a virtual one. Look, if I shake this microbit, things are going to happen. Things are going to change on the screen, and I'm getting different things. And the way that we do this is using different blocks. We're providing different ideas. In this case, let me make this really big and just bring one of them. We're saying, you know, microbit, when somebody shakes you, so when somebody shakes the microbit, I want you to pick a number from 1 to 3. I want all of you to pick one number from 1 to 3 right now. I'm going to pick one. Don't say it. Okay, we have a number from 1 to 3. And then we're going to say, if the number you picked is 1, that means you picked rock. If the number you picked is 2, that means you picked paper. And if the number you pick is 3, that is scissors. I picked 1, that's the 1, so I pick rock. Think which number did you choose? Which is your chosen number? Now we're going to let the microbit play on its own, and let's see what it gives us. Microbit got rock, so I got a draw. Then now you know what happened if you won against the microbit, you got a draw, or you lost. And that's the way that we code. We can code like you see here with all these blocks that makes things a little bit easier. They might seem like a lot, but it's a lot of fun. And I programmed in such a way that if we don't have a question, it shows a doc. So great, we all should have a doc in our lives. And the last thing is that you're feeling curious. What does this code look like for developers and people that work with code? Then we can click on the top and say, you know what? This is how it looks if you're writing Python. And this is how it looks if you're using JavaScript. So this is all coming together where we have all this information where we know, you know what? There's this thing that's called a microbit, and this is coded using something called make code that I can create some blocks and move things around. And by writing code, I can gather information, as Brenda showed, in order to display data, in order to evaluate information from the world around us. It can be how much concentration of pollutants do we have in the air. If we chart that and we see that in a graph, we see, you know what, that's increasing. Or what is happening to the temperature of the planet? It's increasing. Oh, then we need to do something about it. But in order to know that we need to do something about it, we need to first visualize to understand the data. And that visualization we need to share with other people. Brenda.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Herman. I think that was a great example of how to use a microbit. And so now let's take it a bit more advanced and combine all the knowledge we have from electricity and microbits and visualization and create one whole project. And so for this project, we are going to be getting the hourly power consumption based on what power type it is in Ontario. So like we said before, this right here is data. Data is a whole bunch of numbers. This is a lot of information to absorb. Right now in column 1, we have dates from January 1st all the way down to December 31st of 2022. The second column, we have hours from 1 to 24 being a whole day. And so right now we have every day of the year times 24 hours, which is 8,750 rows of data. That's a lot of data. The following columns indicate how much energy we're using from a particular energy source during that time. Again, a lot of numbers. And so what we were able to do is extract all this information, all these numbers, and condense it into the smaller chart you see on the right side. This chart we've divided into months, being January to March, April to June, July to September, October to December. And then on the colorful columns, we have the time segments, midnight to 6 a.m., 6 a.m. to 12, again, etc. But that's still a lot of numbers, and we can't really tell a story from that. So we decided to create a microbit project. From this project, we've created this small template, and just heads up for all teachers and students, you are welcome to apply to get all these free kits, all of this knowledge and lesson plans for free on the Steamlabs website. But anyways, so now we created a microbit project. In this project, we can distinguish how much, what percentage of energy is being used at a certain time during the month and day. And we did this by creating a microbit project. So right now, by pressing A, we go through the different months, January to April, October to December, etc. By pressing B, we filter through the times, like we saw in the chart earlier. And by pressing both A and B, we go through the different energy types, being geothermal, all renewable, hydro, wind, solar, etc. And so let's go back to the example. By me pressing all of these different buttons on the microbit, now our microbit that's attached to a servo motor is pointing to a percentage based on what energy we've selected. So if we click around, you can see that in January at 6 p.m., we are using that percentage of energy. What I don't have on that video is something that Herman showed, but if we shake the microbit, then it'll just say us all renewable energy and then what percentage it is. So you can see there's so many different ways that we can use to communicate data through microbits and through electronics and visualization. And so now that we know what those energy is telling us, let's tell another story. Let's use this in our daily lives and see how we can use this energy to tell a story and make decisions in our daily lives. So by using the same data we spoke about earlier, we can see if it's a good time to be using electricity. If there's a lot of electricity being used at the time, we shouldn't be using our electronics because we don't want to short circuit and cause a blackout. So instead, we can use energy during off-peak times. And again, the microbit is oriented the same as we had before, being the first column is the months and the last one is the times. And so by clicking through, we can see if this is a good time for us to be using our laundry machine, etc. All of these projects are found on the Steamlabs website, which I'll show you here. And for teachers, all you have to do is go to the data visualization, and then all the projects are here. So you can see the one I just showed you now is here, and it has all of the instructions. It has lessons plans and ways that you can order the kits for free, so your students can also play around with these projects. And then Herman, come back in.
Herman, drugging. There he is. Perfect. Good. So the last thing to wrap up is that we have climate action. And climate action is something that wraps everything that we're doing, and something that we invite you to visit is that for climate action, there's this website that holds information about the different efforts that people around Canada are doing in order to make a change in the way that we use electricity and the way that we produce power. And I invite you to go to genaction.ca, and that contains spotlights that highlight everything that we've done here regarding nuclear energy, but there are very interesting projects about geothermal energy, about wind, about solar, about the wells, about cities and how the cities can be a little bit more livable by increasing our green coverage. Many interesting things to see in Gen Action. I wanted to invite you there. And then the last thing that I have for us today is a big thank you. It's a big thank you. Please do visit Steamlabs to get the free kits and to get information and to get your class involved in playing with microbits, as you saw there. There will be NeoPixels. NeoPixels are those crazy lights that we have on the taco truck. Now you can make a taco truck. And on top of that, it also has all the cables and the information and the cardboard in order to create interesting structures like the one that Brenda presented. For example, today when I dry my hair, I check first, and all good.
Perfect. Herman, Brenda, I want to bring you both in to say a huge thank you for such a totally and utterly unique broadcast. Again, Steamlabs, every time we do something with Steamlabs, it's very, very different than anything else we do, and I love it, and I always end up with my face hurting from smiling, which is a good problem to have in a live digital education program. This is going to cover you a little bit, Brenda. There's no way around this, but Kids Code Jeunesse's website. Oh, there you go. Just stick your head up. Make your head high. Steamlabs.ca. The Make Code Microbit site is super cool if you want to check that out. We've had data visualization site to check out, and I'm going to send all our links to dive in with the nitty-gritty of all of this to all our classes when we're done. There's some amazing kits that your classes can get if you're eligible across Canada. We had the chance to explore some really, really fun things today. They did have to go at Rocky Lake Elementary, but if they tune into this end bit later, I want to say a huge thank you to them for showing some amazing projects. By the way, the fact that the girls project worked like no problem at all instantly was like perfectly on point for 2023. So way to go, girls. And we got drones, planes, amazing trucks, and more. You guys can have so much fun with microbits. And again, the amazing teams at Kids Code, Jeunesse, and Steamlabs. What a huge thrill for you to partner with us on this amazing program today. We'll wrap it there for our live YouTube audience. Thank you so much on behalf of all three of us. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now, guys. Thank you.